Love spell. It happened to me. Hi everyone, it's Maria Maumela. Thank you for joining me. Excuse my voice. I'm recovering from the cold. Okay. So I met this woman who once told me the love spell that was put on her. And she told me her story, not knowing that a few years later I would find myself in the same dilemma. I will tell you her story at the end after I've told you mine so you can see the similarities between us, okay? I just never thought it would happen to me because this lady, she's not a born again Christian, okay? That's how I looked at it because like I was saved at 10, okay? So when this happened, yes, I was saved. And no, I was not living in sin. The only thing I can say is that I was not deep in prayer as I am now. I feel it's important for me to say this, okay? So this is what happened. I came across this guy by chance, okay? And having met this guy, um, he took a I don't think he first took a romantic interest in me because when he approached me as someone who was like there's two of them in short of one person. They're trying to start this company, and they were into real estate, and real estate is my first love. Okay, so I was intrigued. I was interested in my country. When you're a particular age, there's certain points. When there's a woman in the team, there's certain points. When you're previously disadvantaged, there's also points. So there were reasons that they chose me. Okay. And like I said, I've always loved real estate. So I thought like this is like a good opportunity for me. Now the perks will be there should there ever be any financial assistance or loans or anything that we may need. Okay. So now the guy explained to me the whole thing, and all that was needed, he told me, and we're just in the process of it. Okay, I was really interested. This is an educated man. Okay, he's good looking, but he was not my type. Okay, I believe this makes sense. Just because you're not interested in someone does not necessarily mean they're not good looking. He is good looking. He's just not what I like. Okay. He was respectful. He was a gentleman, and he was very professional. I had no problem. Okay, up until one day his friend pulled out of the out of the deal, and I remember him saying like with him pulling out, he'll have to find someone who's gonna suit like there are requirements. So the person he had to bring in had to have the like he has to have the qualifications and the papers that we needed in order for all of us to be a team. It's not a matter of just like saying, okay, we were a team. Now this person is gone. We're just gonna take any like it doesn't work like that. And these people were the people that were already in the real estate business. Okay, so as working but not working for themselves, working under a big company. So it was a matter of him having to pitch the idea to another person. Now when the friend pulled out, he called a coffee meeting. We met up and we discussed this whole thing. For me, when the friend pulled out, it was like a of putting, and I was not feeling like we should be persuading him. So when I met up with the guy, he was like, look, I just feel like we should leave this guy alone, and we must just pitch the idea to someone else. He said he'll pitch the idea to his other colleagues. So I was like, I'm still in. So he was still looking for a suitable partner. Okay. And that's another thing. We used to think similarly. So decisions were always made very quickly, you know. So as we were waiting for the rightful person to replace his friend, and he had chosen this person because he was his friend. Okay, so now he had to take someone else who's just a colleague, but who's got right qualification and who's got drive and what we needed. Okay, fine. Um, so now during this time when we are still waiting for a replacement, okay, so it was just a bit quiet. There's nothing to talk about because we need this third person, and until the third person is in, we're not gonna do anything. We just had to wait. Fine. And then I noticed that now the guy started to send me scriptures in the morning. And I'm like, oh, okay, so he's a born again believer. Okay, I didn't know. And I told him like, oh, I didn't know you are a Christian. I'm a born again believer myself. He was sending me scriptures every morning. I just felt it was too much. I would have rather he sent me like once or twice or none at all. And I didn't know what to say. I did not want to offend him. So I just thought maybe he's a newborn, he just got recently saved and he was on fire. And I did not want to quench that fire. I just had to soldier on and endure it and take the scripture, and it didn't hurt. Okay, I just had to remember to just respond. If it's too long, to at least respond with amen. Okay, that's how his communication began. And then over time, they moved from those messages to him calling, checking me, like, how you doing? And I'm like, I'm good. And then over time, I realized that, no, I think this guy likes me. So I had to send subtle, subtle messages like, I'm not into you like that. Okay. And he got it. And he backed off. I was so grateful and relieved that like he did. I expected him to do that. He's a gentleman. Okay. So what happened next was he was gone, I think for like a few weeks, less than a month though. He came back and he called me. We was talking loud and laughing. He was in high spirits. We were laughing. We were catching up and everything. Okay. And after that, I remember a few days after that, I started to look at him differently. Like, I remember I used to sit there and be like, imagine me dating him. Imagine us going to this place. Imagine us doing this. Imagine us going there. Imagine us. Like everything was like us. Like if I'm going to the mall, I'm like, imagine us going to the mall. If I'm going to go try this, imagine us trying this. Like it was just this us from nowhere. Okay. And I thought, oh wow, I think I'm starting to fall for this guy. I'm starting to fall for this guy. Okay, and then he picked up on calling. He started to call often. Okay, and then we started dating, but all this was happening over the phone. And he was like, we need to meet in person. And I'm like, okay, we've already met before to do meetings, so it was nothing foreign. Okay, but God being God, for whatever reason, always something came up either from his side or from my side. I believe there was like 3 attempts for us to meet until he said, look, this is not working. So I figure I should come to see you where you live. And naturally, I would have said no, like you can't come where I live. But for whatever reason, I'm like, yeah, you can come. Like I was even seeing this guy as a possible husband for me in the future. I could even see myself giving this man children. Like that's how far ahead I was. Okay. And then I remember um, after he had said he was going to come, he called one day asking for directions. I'm like, are you coming now? He said, no. I'm like, then what's the point? I said, I'll give you directions the day you are coming. Like if I know like you're on the way, let me know when you're at this place and I'll start to direct you from there. He's like, why don't you just give me directions? I'm like, no, I just want to know. The thing is, I did not want him to just come and surprise me. I just needed some level of control, at least. And he's like, okay. Um, Still, him having to come, there's always something happening on his side or on my side. But then over time, I remember, and then over time, I remember I started to sort of be double minded. Like I would like him and I'm like, I don't like him, he's not my type. And I'll move on from imagine us being together in the future to moving on to no, but it's not my type. Like, no. You know, it was weird because it's like there was two of me and we were on two opposite ends, okay? And I never thought too much of it, okay? When you are in this web, you like it's like someone can't just come and snap you out of it. Like you can't really see. You can tell something is off, but can't really tell what is what, okay? So time went by and slowly it began to wear off. And I remember he would call and I started to be a little bit impatient with him. And I was starting to be irritable. And then one day he sent me an SMS. And in that SMS, he actually sent asking me for money. And I remember as I opened that SMS and I read it, and I left it. I went to bed. The following morning, I read it again. And I remember in the morning, I'm thinking, how come I didn't realize this last night? I should have called him. After seeing that message, I wrote him the longest text I've ever sent anyone. And after that, I called him and I told him exactly what I thought of him. Like I wasn't impressed at all. Like I was telling him like I've never dated any guy who's ever asked me for money. Like the guys I date, they've never asked me for money. And I remember thinking, why am I even dealing with this guy? He's not my type. I was thinking of all these other things. And I'm like, but why am I still dealing with him? Why am I still dealing with him? And I remember um just prior to the message, I was moving from I'm in love with this guy to moving to why am I dealing with irritability. But now I was not moving from I'm in love to being irritable. I was moving from anger to rage. I was moving between just what deep emotions. I was so what do you call it, volatile. My emotions were over the place. And I remember I would call him and literally just let it spill over him. And I remember thinking, like, what is wrong with me? And I remember I even broke it off. And after breaking up with him, I felt a peace and relieved. And I remember thinking, like, what just happened to me? What happened to me? I remember praying for myself, but I stopped speaking to the guy. I blocked him. After having blocked him, my mind slowly was able to, like, I could say I was starting to become me again, and I realized that, like, the things that I felt I liked about him were the things I never really liked about him. So it was very weird. And I felt like something was just not right here. And I remembered the story of that lady who told me, she said she met this guy in church and this guy liked her and she didn't like this guy. This guy went as far as to send people to go and speak to her on his behalf. And she told everyone that she wasn't interested. But she said to me, funny enough, in just a short while, she was now interested and open to the guy. They were going to malls together, doing shopping, doing things of the sort. And she said it didn't make sense to her. Like, no, at that time she didn't realize it. She was doing shopping and she was developing this liking for the guy. Okay. And then she said it came to a point where the guy actually sent the people and they came and paid her bride price. She said she arrived there, but her love spell took long to wear off. She said it wore off a week after she was already at the place. And she said she just woke up one morning and she realized like she had been in that place for that long. And she said she had this anger and this rage, someone that was so lovey-dovey to this man. She said she was moving from these deep emotions like hate, anger, rage. That's how you know like you are coming out of it. I don't know how they do these love spells, but it comes like it's a it's just so much love. It's like it just blows out of control. You can't contain it. But now when it fades away into very negative emotions, to the point where the person like can't deal with you, they can't stand you. Like you can't stand that person. Like you could physically even hit them, even if you're not a violent person. It will definitely make you act out of character, okay? And that was the case with her. She became physical with the man. I wasn't physical with him because he wasn't there. But the anger and the rage was there, because I remember I would just call him and then I would just hang up, like, oh my word. So I remember thinking, like, I can't believe it happened to me. And someone told me this, and I never thought it would happen to me. So it happened to me, yes. As a Christian, it happened to me, and I felt it's good for me to share. I wasn't even planning on sharing it. It just came out one day as I was just making one of the videos, and I promised to share like my story, that yeah, it actually happened to me as a Christian, not living in sin. No, I was not living in sin. Even God is my witness. But I was not deep in prayer, and at that time I didn't even know how to pray in tongues. And no, I was not that connected with the Lord, and my discernment wasn't that sharp either. Okay. So, yeah, thank you guys. God bless.